Marooned on Triton.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Marooned on Triton. So, last episode, we were attacked, and in what I can only describe as a feat of sheer luck, we defeated our attacker with one shot, and then it just kind of sat there and spent all its ammo. So, I guess that's good for us. Unfortunately, we won't be getting any bullets from it, but we have this fully intact, minus the brain part, drone flying above us. It might be possible to get it. So that's what we're going to try now. Okay. So drone. I won't be able to control it, I assume, because, well, the brain's on fire. I wonder if I can get access to it. I need to turn on my antenna. Alright. Hopefully the surroundings are clear of any other enemies. No. Wrong ownership antenna. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Let's turn that off. How am I going to get it down? I don't want to damage any thrusters. So that would be the obvious solution. But if I can keep... Ideally, if I could keep that whole drone intact, then I have a weapon. I can use it against them. Even if I make it a manned vehicle, I could use it as sort of a flying scout. It's too far up for the crane. I mean, eventually it'll come down because the battery will give out. It's probably got some time in it. I suppose I could, pick off a thruster and see if I can make it fall somewhat gently. It looks like it has one reversing thruster there, and it's sort of nosing down. So maybe if I can gently pick that off, it will just kind of slide into the ground and be relatively intact? I don't know. Only one way to find out, though. I think as much as the handgun is enjoyable in these sorts of things, I don't think it's going to work very well in terms of actually picking off things with any sort of accuracy. Oh, there's a piece of my back end. Guess I could fix this up too while I'm at it. Yeah, so let's use the big gun, which should still have ammo. Oh yeah. I think it stopped shooting because once it detected that the brain was gone, it was no longer a threat, and the turret AI knew that. Okay. So. Yeah, if I just kinda... Ooh. Okay, those were some hits. Oh, okay, here it comes. Oh, crud. Oh! Okay. Well, good news and bad news. Good news, most of the thruster... Actually, all the thrusters... That one is just slightly dinged up. But all the thrusters except for the reverse one that we just shot are still intact. The bad news is not much else is. Okay. Well, so we know that maybe shooting out the thing keeping it in the sky doesn't quite work. Oh, geez, there are parts of it over here. There's a whole gyro over here. Oy vey. Well, I'm very glad. I panicked for a second there. It looked like this was about to crash straight into the rover. Into the, hovercraft. Which it very nearly did. It hit here. So, yeah, I guess, the downside, it was kind of aiming right for this turret. So, of course, it was going to come right at the turret. I didn't think that through very well at all. But I couldn't remote into it, so there wasn't too much I could really do. Well, okay. So we have enough thrust in this. I could probably stick a new battery on it and turn it into some sort of flying machine. Flying. Ooh. We'll leave it in the hole for now. But that gives me an idea. Because if I turn that, if I were to maybe get rid of the guns, stick a new battery and a drill on this thing, maybe this is how I get my ice, a modified mining drone. Because if it just has a drill, those two lifting thrusters may be able to lift a full load. So it'd only have the cargo of the drill. But I could send it out fairly easily from within the base. Yeah, I may do that. I think that's much more fun than another thing to sit on top of a flatbed. But the first order of business is to get normal ice so that we don't run out of power while doing weird flying machines. I'll probably need to think of some way to charge it, too. Yeah, there will be some steps involved in this. Okay. Back to the iron pit. So, maybe I should set the gun to a more normal inclination. Just in case. Okay. So gather up a bit of this. Hopefully have enough to, yeah, keep the base running. Oh, I had a bunch of parts on me. It's like, how on earth did... How I just built this container. How's there already stuff in it? Well, we can put that in. That stuff in too. Yeah. That's one of those cargo bots. I guess if I do make that drone back into a working combat drone, I might be able to go after those things. The issue is they're moving so quickly. I don't know if I could actually catch one. Wonder what type of cargo they carry. I guess there must be. I've not really seen much, but there at least was some sort of colonization society here before. I wonder if there's still, like, production and factories. I mean, I guess these robots have to come from somewhere. Once I get myself settled, I guess maybe I should start exploring the planet. If there's stuff here from before, I don't quite know what happened in between, but I might be able to find a way off. Find some ship or something somewhere that, you know, ended up abandoned and forgotten. I guess that's sort of the long-term goal then. But I suppose first off we should get survival down. Make sure we have a decent, comfortable place here, because I could go traipsing around an entire planet, but I don't think I'm going to do that any sort of quickly. And with those buddy bots all over the place, and I've only seen those things. If they're here and if there are cargo bots going around, there could be all manner of stuff out there that's more threatening than these, and I'm just happily somewhere away from it all. Yeah. I think I want to be well prepared before I do too much long distance exploring. Okay. So, wheels on, thrusters off, those off, give it a bit more oomph. Yeah, it still has the sort of crawling capability I need from it. And now that this is nice flat ground, makes life much easier. Get everything out of here. This should get... Yep, engine's kicked back on. It's got a little bit of fuel. Piston's close to fully extended again. Everything seems to be working. So that's good. Is the roof? Yeah, roof looks correct. That's always my fear, is that something's gonna happen and it's not gonna dig up. Because then eventually it'll start whacking itself on the ceiling, and that's just gonna cause all manner of problems. So, that's empty. That's still going. Let's take a look at this. Actually, let's get some of the parts we might need. We can maybe throw them in this cargo container, and then look into building the thing back up from there. So, remote control, gyro. Ooh. Hold on, I just realized the downside with my idea of making it into some sort of mining drill. It no longer has reverse thrust, which is kind of important for a mining vehicle. I suppose I could make it like... I could have the drill facing down, so it sort of hovers along the ground collecting ice. I still feel like that's going to cause a little bit of unpredictability in terms of control. Maybe we bring it in here and think of something interesting to do with it. Or maybe we just leave it in its hole for now. Right as night falls, of course. So, what we have here left... Yeah, we have 2 lifting thrusts, 2 sideways thrust, and 1 forward thrust. Yeah, so it doesn't have thrust that goes from, I guess, the original orientation. It doesn't have thrust to push it down, or any thrust left to push it backwards. So for me, there's not really any way I could orient this, unless I cut thrusters off and move them around. If I were to do that, I could have a thruster in every direction, but then it's not going to be able to haul any... Like, it wouldn't... I don't think it would be able to lift up a drill empty if I did that. Maybe what I could do is, talking about scouting and exploring the planet, the hover barge works well for that. It can go pretty quick along the ground. But I wonder if it would be handy to have something that I could get up in the air. A sort of flying vehicle. For that sort of behavior, I think this could work. I won't be able to operate it like a normal ship with reversing thrust, but I could fly it like one of those old, the aeroplanes, I think they were called, that didn't have any thrusters anywhere except for forward. Yeah. Let's maybe clean up the front of this. Yeah, if I stick a battery back in here, I could sit like a cockpit on front of that. Maybe some wheels to land on. Because I'd have to do a rolling, at least rolling landing. That could work. That would allow me to get up high, get a bird's eye view on things. I could even arm it, and I could see if I could take out some of those cargo ships with it. Ooh. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay. Well, I think priorities, that will come after we get an ice drilling machine. Oh, hold up. Oh. Well, I think I see why the divot is here. Yeah, so there's some weird, I guess, with how it moves and how the tension's on it, where the drills dip down quicker. Does it look like it's affecting the roof line? It's hard to tell. That almost looks like there's a little bit lower there, but it's not lower on that side. That could be something else. Maybe... Yeah, I've still got some plate. Ah, crud. If I build these, I'll have to get rid of them. Well, I guess I could build some of them. At the very least, this will allow me to hop over here. Yeah, it does look like that corner's less drilled. Yeah, I don't know why these hinges... It's like they just get too weak. Or they've gotten weaker than when I set this up. But even then, I remember it was kind of like this, and I had to fiddle with it. It's like the fiddling with it no longer works. Huh. Well, it still seems to be drilling forward. Maybe we wait and see how long is left. There we go. Minute and a half. Let's see if it comes back up to normal, like full level. Because if it does that, I guess the actual stroke of the mining isn't as critically important, so long as it gets the hole in the end. And if it drills down below, maybe let's make sure the connector... Well, the connector should not have things in it. Don't know where it got those. Yeah, so they aren't getting bogged down. Again, it looks like they're pulling up now. I mean, it's not ideal, but so long as it kind of does both ends, I guess that should work fine. Oh. Oh. I wonder if it's because of this. Because these kind of go corner to corner, I wonder if they're sort of bumping into each other, and maybe that's caused it to kind of get off kilter. Dunno. But it came up to level, it's still got some time left, so I think it'll be fine enough. Alright, what was I doing? Right, I think I was talking about priorities. So, I could make my cool flying contraption. I want to do that. But I think first step is to get a system so that I can get more reliable ice. And won't have to make as many ice trips. So... Yeah, because we've already burned through all that ice we just brought. Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, so we need a lot more ice capability than we have. Right. So, to do that, I'm going to want... I'm just going to ask for the parts, and I won't build this one, but it'll give us enough parts to build everything. So I think what I'm going to want are a row of containers like that kind of fill up the whole deck. Uh-oh. Yeah, crud. Organics detected. That's not ideal.
Low.
I think it's going after that signal. Yeah, I've got some energy. Let's go. Luckily, everything's inside the cave. Okay, there's the signal coming down. Oh. Oh, nope, it's firing on it. Oh yeah, there it is. Well, that's one unknown signal I'm not getting. I just hope it stays over there when it's done. Oh, look how mean it looks. That's hard to keep track of, that zoomed in. It's coming closer. Oop, let's turn our antenna off. Okay, it's circling. Yeah, its attention's still on. Wow. The signal's still broadcasting. That's impressive. I don't like that it's just hanging around up there. Well, I suppose it'll probably get bored eventually. Is the gun out here? I assume everything is still good on it. Yeah, 800 meters. Should target anything.
Energy critical.
Oh, right. And I'll sit in the chair. 14 days of power on this system, so we should be okay. Is it still? Yeah, it's still shooting. Well, we'll leave it be up there, and hopefully once it's done messing with that thing, it'll move on. And won't have noticed us down here. Okay. Well, so back to this. So, got cargo containers. I think what we'll do, if we use hinges and a drill, which I know has been going so well for me thus far. But my thought is, I can use one hinge in the middle back of the drill where its little port is there. And then I can have a hinge on either side of it that are there just to give it more lifting strength. From there, I can articulate the hinge down, so when I want to drill, I can have it down in the ice, drilling a nice deep crater. But then I can lift it up, so that it's not in the way when I want to take this thing off or do anything else with it. Then I'll need a battery on here. Maybe kind of right in the middle. It will obstruct the gun a bit in normal use operations. Though I guess I could always raise this piston up and then have the gun above everything. Just make myself taller. So that should be alright. And it should, because of the little ports, the ice can flow through there, fill up all 4 cargo, and then I have nice easy access to each container for unloading. Because I don't think I'm going to bother making this thing an attachment point anywhere. I think it'll just be a tool I can strap on here, and if the battery runs out, I just stick a new battery on. In theory, just running a drill, it should last a while. It's okay. So we put all the parts we have left in there. Get all this built. And then we can go about doing everything else. Power cells. Okay. What are our resources looking like? Oh! So we have 350,000 iron, 27,000 nickel, a little bit of silver, nearly 50k silicon. So we're doing all right. That is the benefit of processing all this stone we're drilling. Oh yeah, see, when they go down, they arc weird. It's like the top ones don't go as quickly as these ones do. Strange. Well, so long as it gets me a tunnel, we should be pretty good for resources for quite some time. Which is probably going to be good because I foresee we're going to need a lot of them. Because I have some plans for what I want to be able to do here that
Energy low.
Are not resource light. I mean, if nothing else, for this entire tunnel run, I want to have the floor be out of plate. And that's not going to be cheap. Yeah, even at the half armors, it's not going to be super easy to do. Okay. So, let's put hinge, hinge, hinge. The middle hinge can pass cargo through it. The side ones I will put hinge parts on the drill to attach. And actually I need to build all these beforehand, otherwise they'll just flop. Construction components. Let's set to production. Then, yeah. Make a couple hundred of those. You always need construction components. So now, drill on the end. And then hinge part. Yes, hinge parts. On the side of the drill, which I can't build yet. There we go. I don't know if this will be necessary, but I don't want to, if nothing else, I want to get the most ice per run I can, which means I'm going to want to have the drill filled with ice. And if I want the drill filled with ice, I'm going to need to be able to lift it before I actually drive with it. Because otherwise, I will no longer have a drill.
No energy.
Very cold all of a sudden. There we go. Oh. Okay. It looks like that signal is finally taken out. I guess they are small, and these things don't seem to be all that accurate. Yeah, I want my headlights. Now, is it... it's coming closer. Let's go out and just see if we can get eyes on it. Unfortunately, you lose my HUD markers when I put these on, so... I'm not seeing it up there. Oh, nope, there it is. It was on the other side of the mountain. Okay. So it is getting closer. Seems to be coming down this ravine. But it doesn't seem to be looking at us. I think it's just getting closer by chance. So let's get back inside here. But yeah, now it's kind of riding the line. So we'll see. They seem to struggle, some of those in the mountains, so maybe we'll get lucky, it'll crash, and then we can try and salvage it. So we've got this drilling machine. This is basically all I need. I've got a battery on it. Got these, I've got the drill. I should be able to, if I lift at the center of the battery, it should be about the center of mass of the thing, so that I can put it on the tray. I need to move or maybe just build another merge pad up here so I can lock stuff down easier, but that should be fine. Let's do some buttons, which I guess aren't necessarily, like, they aren't strictly necessary, but I think it'll be nice to be able to just control this without having to go into menus and manage things. It's okay. So I'll need maybe a red button that turns the drill on. Then I'll want buttons that do... I think I can do it with just two. I need things. Let's just get a bunch. So I think with two buttons, I can have one that reverses the hinges, and one that locks them. I may just need a reverse, because I don't necessarily need it to be straightforward, and I can set where I want them with the hinge limits. Yeah, so we'll have a reverse. We have a drill on and off. I think that's all I actually need. Maybe we have these on the side. Nah, that'll be good there. It feels odd sticking them over this port. Well, maybe we get more steel than we ever would need. We'll just make a sort of panel. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Yeah. So that'll toggle the drill on off. This one will control a group of drill hinges. And it will set them to reverse. So now I think if it goes fully 90 up or down, the corners of the drill would bump into the containers. So let's maybe make the hinges, we'll go -80 and 80. Set the velocity to -1. Yeah. It's got plenty of strength to move it. All the hinges I faced the same way, so they will do as I ask them. Yeah, perfect. So when it's like that, in its sort of stowed drill position, I can drive around, everything should be a-okay. Then when I reach my, wherever I want to start doing the ice, I reverse it. I would turn the drill on, except I don't want to right here. The drill will drop, and it should be low enough that it'll start drilling in and start making a trench. Yeah. So you can see we're up a little bit on the floor, and it still pushed the front wheels up. So I'll be able to drill in nice. I should be able to drill a nice trench, get a bunch of ice. I maybe should have put these controls on the other side where the seat is, but I didn't think of that. Okay. Well, so we ran out of ice completely. Are these... Yeah, so they've just started, and you can see the top ones don't start lifting nearly as quickly as these ones start lowering. So it is doing... It is going to mean the roof isn't going to be quite as correct. Yeah. It'll drill in deeper down and not get as far forward. Though it doesn't seem to be causing an issue overall. Whoops. I wonder if because the iterations are so small, when it comes back up, it gets that section. So we'll go maybe... It's at full extension. We can go get some ice. Let it do maybe a down and an up, and just kind of really clean that area out before we bother with the next piston. And hopefully that will mean everything's kind of a nice square tunnel. I need some lights on this before I go gallivanting around again. Okay. Headlights, drill. How much power? That'll be in here. 2 days. What if I turn the drill on? 2 days. Guess drills don't actually take all that much power. Or maybe it needs more power if it's actually in the ground. Either way, I think we should be good. Now, this is not maybe the best time. It's like a snowstorm and all that. Maybe this isn't the best time to test this system. What else? I guess I could watch this thing. I guess the benefit of it drilling down here, it may be drilling low enough, I'll be able to use that space to run piping and whatnot under the floor. So actually it could be a good thing that it's doing this. Or at least I can spin it to be a good thing and pretend I haven't messed up royally. Yeah, so that has a bit of power in it. Yeah, now it straightens. So I'll let it do one more pass. Maybe we observe it on a pass up, just to see what it does. Because if it's doing this on the pass up as well, then we could run into issues. But it looks like it's not running into issues, so I assume when they reverse and the drills go to the upper level, they actually push up, and because I don't move forward that far, they are able to drill out the area that they previously didn't get on the downswing. I think I talked about it earlier. Time gets so funny down here when you're talking to yourself. I do think I remember sort of observing this before. It may have been when it was just one hinge. That going up, like it is now, it actually, because of gravity kind of helping the hinge move, all the hinge has to do is limit the drills from drooping. So it's actually able to keep everything level and work going up. And it's only coming down that things become an issue. Because coming down, now the end piston is having to fight gravity to hold the hinge up. It's sort of going in the opposite direction. Gravity's pulling it in the opposite direction it wants it to. If that makes any sense. If I have another timer block, I could make it so that basically it does an up, down, then extend. The issue with that is it just makes it much more complex. It makes it slower, but I don't think it actually would really do much different. Because while yes, having it not be the same stroke going down as it is coming up does mean that every other push is it's doing it asymmetrically. So going up, it has to drill out more than it does coming down in a weird way. It could, in theory, cause an issue. But I think all the tolerances are such that it doesn't. Like, as the drills kind of pull up, and because they kind of pull back with the hinges as well, I think it's able to chew through what it missed going down, even though it extended forward. And so what we end up with is a nice smooth tunnel roof, even though the action causing that smoothness isn't smooth. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. It doesn't seem so noticeable that it'll be weird looking. I think it'll be doable, usable. You may, if you pay attention, notice some sort of roof striations, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Okay. Well, so I guess we just let him come down again. The sun's now up outside. So let's go test out our drill machine. And then once it reverses, I'm going to stop the timer. So I should maybe go up and be ready to do that. Timer block. Okay, it just triggered. So if I stop it now, the drills will just kind of continue their merry arc down as they're doing, end up resting down here, and then we should be able to pull this back, rebuild all this on a second piston, and go deeper. But for now, let's see what this does. Right, break off. Use the power of wheels to get out. And actually, it may be good to use the power of wheels when drilling as well. Because while hovering is good for getting around quickly, it's not very fine and precise, and that's kind of what you need if you're making a trench with the front of your vehicle. Okay. Now, where do I want to do this? Because I don't really want to make a bunch of, ditches in the ice that I have to deal with. I already have this pit growing in front of my main base that I'll have to cover over with metal at some point, I imagine. Maybe we go down the coast here, because there's not really much that way. Oh, and actually, well, I'm thinking about it. That's no longer a drone wreck. This is, what should the base name be? I've heard about a cool place called Echo, but feels like somewhat ironically cheating to just rip the name off completely. Maybe similar to Echo is repeat base. Sure, I don't know what it means, but that's for people in the future to decide. We shall be the repeat base. Now we're going to go this way a while until I feel like I'm well and truly away from anywhere I'd want to drive. And we'll make a ice mining field. I don't want to go too far, so maybe here-ish. Yeah, that's not far. I can scoot over here, and then do some drilling. So let's maybe try and line myself up. I want to stay flat. This is relatively flat. Yeah, right here. So, another new, this will be not wheeled, the ice mining field. And that'll just kind of warn me to steer clear of this area with any vehicle, because I may fall in a hole. My theory here is to kind of do a pass, go to a distance, and then just kind of start working back and forth. I mean, swinging this camera probably doesn't help very much, but kind of do a line out this way, turn around, do a line back, turn around, line back. Sort of like how a field would be done. So, yeah. Let's start that. Bring it down. Now the challenge is I won't really be able to tell how full everything is while driving. I have to get out every so often and check. Also... Ooh. That could cause an issue. The edge of the hole is right where the wheels are. I was hoping it would be just a little more narrow than that. If we're lucky, we have enough wheels that will kind of always have some support. Bright side is, worst case comes to it, we can use the arm to get us out. Yeah, I want to just coast forward. Unfortunately, it's not very easy to do. This may not be the solution. It's almost wide enough to straddle the ditch. But anytime I move, see, I'm kind of drifting sideways into it. Oh, and now I've gone fully in. Yeah. Well, hey, everything's full too, so that was all I needed to do, apparently. Hey, and that's lifting up fully. Good. Cool idea. Glad I tested it. Don't think it works. I might be able to, if I made the barge even wider, maybe. But I think any wider and it'll start to become unruly. I do have to get it into a tunnel after all. Come on, wheels. There we go. Yeah. So I may have to think of a different solution here. Maybe I build some sort of auxiliary building that can just sort of mine in a big old arch. And I just have a cargo, or heck, eventually I could have that refine the fuel as well. And I just transport the fuel back on this thing on a specially built fuel tank. That could be an option. And I'm driving instead of hovering. Does make me wonder. As much as I like the hover capability, And I have some ideas that I could maybe even improve it further. I don't know if it's really all that useful. Especially if I'm able to get that sort of drone turned into a flying machine. The ability to go fast, I mean, it's nice. But at a certain point, I'm going to be wanting to haul cargo. And while having the ability to sort of skate along the ice is cool, it's not really as useful as I anticipated it being. So, we may think on that. This may change and become a different machine again. Who knows? And then I could... Ooh, actually. If I did that, I could take these thrusters... I could put them onto that and make it an actual useful flying machine. Something I could actually use to scout stuff out, fly around. I wouldn't have to fly like an airplane. But I kind of want to fly it like an airplane. I'll think on all of these things, I suppose. Yeah. For now, it's time to transfer some ice. Oh, and these are down, so it'll be time to do that too. And with all of that, I think it's also time to end the episode. I could turn these drills off though. This is just you're seeing in his mind's eye as he plans to turn the drills off. There we go. Yeah. So, a lot of things, a lot of ideas that I didn't anticipate having all at once just now, but we have them. So I'll have to think on what I want to do with that. But that'll all come later. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out all the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye bye.